All good. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Well, actually, if I was preparing this presentation, then I had a lot of doubts at, well, actually, how it relates to all of the agenda here. But luckily, I can already now say that actually it relates very well with the keywords that were presented by Evgeny Ossinovsky, speaking about the sustainability challenges and the governance of the sustainability in cities. And also with Rainer, let's say, speaking about the innovation being political, yes, indeed. It is a challenge that basically daily all of the policymakers are facing. So, well, when we're speaking about the challenges in the energy transition, then, well, green energy transition, you all know, basically, that usually when it's talked about, it's a lot about technologies that has to be presented and introduced in the country in order to be more efficient, reduce the carbon emissions, and so on and so forth. But in the same time, it's also about the transition from the large centralized systems into small and decentralized systems. It's a transition from the dispatchable energy towards the non-dispatchable energy. And we are moving from one energy system to a completely new one. And in between, we have to keep the lights on 24/7, 60 minutes, 60 seconds basically in every second. So it means that we have to be very careful how we manage all of these transitions in political level, in company level, in society level. And if you try to put it into one picture, well, it's quite diverse. Well, you have to look at the very different aspects of all of these green energy transition. I will not go into all of these bullets here that you would need to look at, but what we see in practice is that if this kind of transition should be promoted mainly by firstly from the politicians, then the companies are the ones who actually usually need to do the investments. And if you try to put yourself into the shoes of the company, then you would find that, say, all of these political and the market risks that are around there are actually too high to take just the action and make the investments. So you might also see that if you're a company, then the EU interests, national interests, and municipal level interests are usually contradictory. And if you try to fit yourself into this whole policy framework, you might find that it's not so easy to be ready to invest. If we speak about the green transition, it's also about the very diverse change that is required. It's not only about electricity that is spoken like 90% of the time in the public. It's also about the heating, it's about the buildings, it's about transport. Everything has to be in one umbrella. And every action in one sphere might also have an impact in the other. So if you think about the ways how this governance of the energy transition has emerged today, it is very strange that, it's from one hand, you can see publicly that the Green Deal for the EU was kind of such an opening of the, say, big change in the European Union. Then, and based on that, the national targets were set for by the governments. Then the national strategy, then legislation was put forward. And then it all was actually supported or orchestrated in behind by the interested project developers who were, let's say, were willing to put forward some new project, but would also wanted to have a demand for such kind of action as well. And then only when all of this political setting on national level was set, the decisions went back to municipalities that they would actually need to take action. And there you got the NIMBY, or banana, called build anything near anything, build anything near anything anywhere. And there is also, say, a word called a NIMBY, not in my neighbor's backyard either. So it's very stressful for all of these municipal and also for the companies who are have to do the investments and the decisions about the lands and the environment around them. And if all of this is passed, then usually step in the real investors who make the investments. And what has actually happened there is a kind of urban-rural conflict. Because usually when we speak about the such a green electricity investments, wind parks, solar, they're all done in rural areas. So nothing, let's say, not much what has been done in cities, where actually people are mainly are the ones who actually say that, well, we have to make ourselves greener. Why so? Why we don't invest actually more also in cities into the green electricity solutions? One might say that, well, yes, we have invested in rooftop solar, that we have sometimes also added some batteries there. But if you look at the city environment today in city center, there are not too many rooftop solars available here. Energy communities have stepped in some areas, in suburban areas, where, say, some of the solutions can be paired with all of the technological solutions. It's interesting to also see that we have kind of even 3 different areas where we can see the energy transition. It's urban transition, suburban transition, and then there's the rural transition as well. So suburban transition is very much about the solar panels paired with batteries, but urban solutions are not too common. So in order to move forward with, for example, the electricity solutions, I have just one example here that might trigger some new thinking. When we speak about the wind, then it's of course quite tricky to put these 300-meter windmills into the city environment. But what if we can use some smarter solutions, like traffic-powered windmills? There are very nice solutions already that are applied in some of the cities that have tested such kind of solutions. That what they have found that yes, the investment might be bigger, but the time of use of these windmills, if you have all the time passing traffic, is actually much higher than with the traditional electricity windmills. So it's say kind of source that is not so much explored yet. The technical solutions are already there, but the cities are not putting it forward somehow. The other underused source is wind parks along the coastline. Maybe a solution for Tallinn. Say it's usually much cheaper to build than the traditional offshore parks. And say there are, of course, then the questions of the, say, coastline views that might be harmed. But this is the question that has to be maybe put forward to the citizens. Well, there are always, say, some say, small issues coming up with that. Let's say in case of Estonia, of course, there is also the icing sea that has to be taken into account, and we also see that there is, say, some restrictions on the defense side. But yeah, this is the points that we can probably get over it. The issue with all of this is that in such kind of projects, there are no private developers. The cities have to take initiative. And this is something that is not so common for the cities. So the politicians of the cities, the city government, basically has to be the one who takes the lead in the project initiation and development. And this is something that needs to be a bit differently approached than usually we have seen in the development of the other projects. So with this small notion, I would like to stop my intervention here, and we're ready for some of the questions as well, if you wish. Thank you.
Thank you, Einari. Thank you. Looks like we haven't got Slido questions yet, but anyone from the floor? Just raise your hand. Okay, while waiting that, I've got a quick question again about the future. So how do you already mentioned some of the ideas about what could be implemented in Tallinn, for example. Any more? What's your own view or own kind of ideal future smart city, or specifically Tallinn, for example?
Well, there are several such kind of, say, new ideas that are coming to the market, especially with the, say, associated with AI, or say with the smart management of the energy systems. Actually, Yevgeny Ossinovsky mentioned as well a couple of solutions that are already being invested in, like the heat storages, then also the heat pumps in the grand scale. That would allow the district heating to be more efficient and carbon neutral. The interesting project that is going on also in Estonia in several places now is about using the deep drill geothermal energy. Say, if you say drill like around 500 meters below the surface, then the temperatures of the ground is a bit higher already, so you can use this heat actually also for production of the district heating as well. And these kind of solutions are tested already in Estonia, and I think that they will be coming to the market actually within next 10 years.
It was about my next question, but someone has also asked that through Slido. How do we increase the cross-border collaboration between Finland and Estonia to ensure the success of future large-scale energy transition projects? And whose responsibility is to drive the collaboration?
Yeah, well, this is a tricky one. Well, let's say there are, of course, a lot of projects that are working on the electricity interconnections. Let's say whether to say Latvia or to Finland, or also potentially to Sweden. Well, this always can support also the development of the new electricity production facilities in both sides of the Gulf as well. So yes, say we do see that there are a lot of interesting projects. Say also, for example, the underground say pump hydro project that is developed in Paldiski that can, in this case, use much better also the potential of the Finnish electricity markets as well. So there are a number of different options that come along with better integration with the neighbors.
There's another comment on Slido, a comment and a question. I agree that cities need to take initiatives in innovative projects. What do you exactly mean? And there was a little remark and a question. How would you prevent city pulling out of the project when the next guy comes with a chainsaw? I guess a reference to what's happening in some countries.
This is exactly the governance challenge there. That say these projects usually take years to implement, and much longer time than usually one of the governance, say the city government is usually in place in Estonia. So there, say if it's commonly agreed among the politicians in the municipalities that such kind of project is actually viable and easy to and reasonable to be invested in, then I think this will strive also forward and see.
Okay, there's another question which is a bit of a wider context. Obviously, it's not just about the cities, but and specifically about Estonia. Please comment this solution for Estonia. Forget nuclear. Estonia's best path is 100% renewables, hydrogen-ready gas, renewables plus hydrogen-ready gas turbines. So, how would you comment on that one?
Well, it's difficult to comment in this perspective. Well, let's say there are some technologies that are not ready for the market. There are some technologies that are not suitable for Estonian conditions. They might be suitable for any other solutions. So when we speak about the nuclear, then it's always the question that, well, how much actually you have to invest in there? And what kind of electricity you will get from there? What would be the price? What would be the all of the security that is required and safety that is required to be installed there? What kind of additional infrastructure do you need? When it comes to renewables, then let's say there are a lot of investments flowing in already, and the question is just where is the reasonable level of that? That it would not hurt the whole operations of the system. Hydrogen today, say price-wise, it's just too expensive. Maybe in 10 years and 15 years, it will be the viable solution. Say we have to be ready for that. So if you today lock in some of the investments for next 20 to 30, maybe even 200 years, then you have to take into account all of these potential changes.
Thank you. Also, there's two questions a bit of along the same route. Should the development of the proposed diversified energy generation, such as those along the roads that you mentioned, be a directive to state energy companies? And another question on the same token, can you name any reasons why there's a lack of private developers in renewable infrastructure in Estonian cities?
Well, let's say I would take the second one before. Let's say usually in cities you don't have land that you can develop for such purposes, and usually if it is there, then it's just much more expensive than in rural areas. That's the main reason why the companies are more looking for the such kind of say rural areas. If you speak about, for example, this traffic-powered electricity solutions, well, all of the roads usually are also the municipality-owned, or in some cases even state-owned. So somebody, and say the road owner, has to take all of the initiatives there. The question about the, say, requirement or the possibility to put all the, say, requirements to invest the state-owned companies, well, being the member of the supervisory board of Eesti Energia, I would say that it has already been done, and it hurts a lot the company. So, say in the end of the day, the company itself would not survive all of these requirements that are put on this.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid we have to move on. There was a few other questions, but I'm sure Einari stays here for a while, and you can ask him afterwards. Thank you very much indeed, Einari.
Thank you.
Applause for you.